channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am so happy you are here. Today I want to share with you my reasons for choosing home birth. My first was born in a birth center, a freestanding birth center, and my second, I had her at home with just me and my husband and my daughter present. I will link both of those birth stories down below in the description box, and I want to share with you the reasons why I choose to home birth. 1, there is no pressure of interventions. 2, it is the gentlest way for your baby to enter the world. There is no one grabbing your baby, roughly stimulating them, bright lights, lots of people, lots of strangers. It's very gentle, very peaceful, just your loved ones all around, in quietness, lots of love and warmth. It's so gentle for your baby. They've only experienced gentleness over the last 9 months. It's already such a huge transition to go from a perfect womb to the outside world, and I think it's so important to have it be a gentle transition. Number 3, decreased likelihood for sensitization. I hope I'm saying that right, but if you are Rh negative, then you are less likely to be sensitized if it is a undisturbed environment. Number 4, you have a clean environment. In the hospital, everything is sprayed down with disinfectant, leaving lots of superbugs that aren't able to be killed. That's why every disinfectant that you read says 99.9% of germs are killed, and then the 0.1% survive, and they just thrive. So it is also an environment full of, there's sickness and all sorts of stuff. At home, you have cleanliness, tidiness. You have your own bacteria in your home, your own microbiome, your own healthy microbiome. It's a great place to introduce your baby. You've been in this environment for at least 9 months, and now your baby's in the environment. You share a shared microbiome. It's a great place for your baby's immune system, especially since they don't really have one when they're born. And so it's good for them to be born into an environment that your immune system is already used to, and that's where they are going to be living. Number 5, there is no people pleasing. So if you're a huge people pleaser like me, I have a hard time saying no to people because I take into account other people's feelings, and it's hard being a people pleaser. And if you're in your own home with your own team that you chose, then you don't have to worry about that. Number 6, it's in the comfort of my home. That's one of my favorites, and everybody who home births, that's one of their favorites. You have food nearby, water, your own bed, your own bathroom, your children, everything that you need, your comfortable clothes, everything, your comfort, it's all there. During one of the most intense marathons of your life, what better place is there than the comfort of your home, the familiarity of your home? And your body recognizes this, and it's conducive to physiological birth. Number 7, home birth is an undisturbed environment. It's the best way for hormones to flow, which guides intuition and allows for the safest birth experience for you and your baby. Every intervention can endanger the process, and so when you prepare for an undisturbed birth, you are automatically making this the safest birth experience possible. And of course, this doesn't mean that it's 100% safe, because that's life. Life is never 100% safe, but choosing to birth in a familiar, undisturbed, safe, comfortable environment does allow for the safest experience possible. Number 8, decreased risk for hemorrhage and post-birth complications because of all of the things I just mentioned, being in a safe, familiar, comfortable, undisturbed environment. You can choose the atmosphere for your comfort, so you can choose the lights that you want, the music that you want, the temperature that you want. Throughout labor, our needs can change so much and so quickly, and you can tailor your environment to your needs. You feel safe, comfortable, and undisturbed. You don't have to drive in labor, a huge one. I've had to drive before in labor. It's not fun. It's not pleasant to have contractions in the car where you can't move and you don't have stability, and it's horrendous. And you don't have to worry about that. You start your labor typically at home and it ends at home. You get to choose who is present at your birth. You get to pick your own birth team. if it's just you and your family, or if it's just you and your husband, or if it's a doula and a midwife or a birth keeper. You get to choose that. You know who's present at your birth, and that's a huge one, because often at hospitals, you don't know who's going to be the nurse and the OB at your birth. And, you know, there might even be students there. And all of this, feeling watched, I mean, that's completely opposite of what the body needs to feel safe in labor. You can eat and drink as you wish, and this is so important because often labor is a longer process. And it is important to stay hydrated and to stay nourished. And sometimes our body takes a break, our contractions slow down, and we get ravenous, and we just need to eat something so that our body has energy to keep going. No one is disturbing your labor process to take vitals, offer anesthesia, etc. All the fun stuff that happens at the hospital. You don't get that kind of disturbance at home. 16, you are able to labor freely without anesthesia and without monitors. Number 17, you are able to cope with contractions better because you are in a safe, undisturbed, familiar environment. You're able to get out of your frontal cortex and just get into labor land and just labor away. A huge one is there are no time constraints in labor. You're on your own timeline. You can labor as long as you want. Your labor can have its own unique pattern, whatever is necessary for your body to bring this baby out gently and safely. You don't have to worry about being on the clock. Number 19, you are able to avoid unnecessary medical interventions common in hospital births. So like I mentioned, because hospitals, they are a business, so they get money for all the interventions that they do. I mean, even if you have skin to skin, you get charged for that too, because they have to have an extra nurse on staff while you have skin to skin for your baby. So you might even see on your bill that you were charged for kangaroo care, skin to skin. Everything in the hospital, there's a charge for it. And so the more interventions that are done, the more money they get. Some of these medical interventions are, and are not limited to, labor induction, general and epidural anesthesia, electronic fetal heart rate monitoring, coach pushing, forceps, vacuum, episiotomy, and managed third stage of labor, which typically involves cord traction, pulling on the cord, pulling your placenta out. If anything's left inside, whole hand goes up into your uterus to make sure everything's out, manual placenta removal, etc. These are only a few of the many interventions that take place in hospitals and in birth centers, and even in home births with certain midwives. 20, you can make informed choices without any medical professional judging, pressuring, or coercing you. 21, low risk of outside exposure to dangerous viruses and bacteria. 22, lower risk of infection. 23, lower risk of tearing, especially 3rd and 4th degree tears. Tearing is not something that we really have to be afraid of. The body is wise, and everything down there is designed to heal quickly and to heal well. But you are less likely to have severe tears if you are birthing in an environment where you are not restricted to certain positions, where you can move freely, and where you feel safe. Number 24, you can birth in any position, and that is one of the most amazing things about home birth. Nobody is restricting you from certain positions, and your body will tell you what position you need to be in that is conducive for your labor process and for your baby to be born. It's so crazy. If you listen to my free birth story, my body did all these positions. It just naturally came to me, and my body just did what it needed to do for my baby to be born. So that's the beauty of not being restricted. Number 26, lower risk of hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is often caused by things at the hospital that were done either to prevent or standard protocol, and a lot of the practices there can actually cause hemorrhage. Even something like being disturbed and not feeling safe, or manually having your placenta removed or even tugged on, all these things can trigger hemorrhage. Being on Pitocin can cause hemorrhage. Just so many things can cause a hemorrhage. So birthing at home undisturbed, that's your least likelihood for hemorrhage. 27, you can rest in your own bed after your baby is born, and there is nothing like that feeling, I promise you. No one will take your baby away for screening and vitals and bathing. You get to hold your baby from the moment they are born, and smell them and cuddle them and snuggle them and nurse them and just get to know them. 29, you get to delay cord clamping for as long as you want. Delayed cord clamping is so important. It is so important for your baby to get all of their blood. If you can wait for at least until it turns white, that is so beneficial for your baby. The effects of it are lifelong. 30, lower risks of complications for your baby. 31, your baby is born alert and sober because they're not getting any kind of medications, pharmaceuticals into their system. So you don't have to worry about that. Your baby is born just usually wide-eyed and sober. 32, you avoid interventions done to your baby without your consent. There are many stories of hospitals doing things to a family's baby without their consent, like receiving certain procedures, like the vitamin K shot or other shots. You don't have to worry about that. Your baby is with you. You know exactly everything that is being done to them, which is usually nothing. You will not be disturbed by anybody at night, other than your baby, of course, but you don't have to worry about doctors and nurses disturbing you at night. You get to sleep peacefully and not be unnecessarily awakened. 34, you get to eat nourishing food at home. It's one of the best things ever. 35, no or low birthing costs. So if you're free birthing, you know that there's almost no cost associated with that. But if you're hiring somebody, it's still a very low cost. A lot of people, even after insurance, they end up paying a higher cost than you would have paid to hire birth support. 36, higher chance of breastfeeding success, and it all has to do with everything that we've talked about: the undisturbed environment, the comfort, the safety. All of this allows your hormones to flow freely. You feel love and connected to your baby, and this all sets you up for breastfeeding success. You don't have to worry about IV fluids and making your breasts too large. You don't have to worry about your baby being sluggish or you being sluggish from all the medications, pharmaceuticals, anesthesia, etc. 37, lower risk of postpartum mood disorders because of an undisturbed process. 38, and this is kind of what I said earlier, but I said that the normal flow of hormones is not disturbed in birth, but this is also true for pregnancy and for postpartum, which is absolutely vital for breastfeeding and bonding with your baby. 39, this is the most safe, gentle, and nourishing start to life out of the womb for your baby and for motherhood for you. I wish I could say I have easy and blissful births, and my births are blissful, but they are not easy. All my births have been incredibly difficult. It's a lot of work. I would still choose to birth that way over and over and over again because literally nothing beats it. And once you experience an undisturbed home birth, you understand what I'm talking about. There is absolutely nothing like it. So tell me in the comments below, did I miss anything? Do you have anything to add? I would love to hear about your experiences. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys again soon.